People say controversy. Good evening, everyone. This is Wiseguy Confidential coming to you live and in person. Quick shout out to the late great Prince. Theme song controversy. I don't think tonight's topic is very controversial at all. Hopefully, you won't think it is either. I'm trying to put out a message today on 9/11 in remembrance of uh, all the people who were lost in the attacks in 9/11 in our country, one of the worst days in our history. And want to give a big shout out to first responders, not only here in the United States, but all over the world who put their lives on the line. And with that in mind, and to get into a very important topic, for those of you who have been watching on the news or even online, you'll know that here in the Western United States, we're dealing with some huge tragedies of loss of life here regarding behind, I should say, major wildfires burning out of control in several Western U.S. states. Here in California, in Los Angeles County, we're hit really bad. The air is so thick, you pretty much have to chew it before you can breathe it. It's for people like myself who have asthma or any kind of lung problems, it is very severe. I haven't used my inhaler much in the last 15 or 20 years, but over the last couple of days, I've been having to use it really just to stay alive, just to be able to breathe in any kind of decent way. We have to have all the windows to our home closed, and the air is worse outside by far than inside, and it's pretty terrible the level of devastation that we're seeing. And I want to send prayers and lots of love and support and positive energy to not only the first responders, but all the people out there who are suffering and have lost their homes, lost their possessions, their pets, all sorts of things. And the devastation that's going on is even beyond words. If you have seen it, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you, even though it's very sad and tragic and heartbreaking to see your fellow Americans suffering like this, it's important because the topic that we're going to delve into is climate change. And as soon as people hear climate change, it seems like people want to pick a side. People who believe in science and people who ignore science, which is crazy to me because our scientists have no agenda. Scientists all over the world, of all different political stripes, of all different religious backgrounds, of all different ethnicities, representing almost 200 countries on planet Earth, all agree that climate change is behind these horrific fires, these wildfires that are going to be happening more frequently and with greater devastation and damage to our planet. There was just some terrible ones that blazed out of control for weeks and several weeks in the Amazon rainforest. We're having floods more frequently. We're having hurricanes of stronger magnitude. The loss of life, the damage that's being done to our planet, to our country, it's not a political issue, really. It's a matter of, do you care about the planet you live on or you don't? Ironically, and I know I'm probably going to hurt some feelings here, but I don't mean to. As a God-fearing person myself, as a person of faith who was brought up believing in the Holy Trinity, Christian person, raised Catholic, and although my producer over here is atheist, but we agree to disagree on certain issues. I have many friends who don't believe in God, and ironically, the people who don't believe in God, they don't believe in a divine creator. They care more about the planet typically than the people who claim to be God-fearing people. And it's beyond me how somebody can say that they love God, that they love Christ or Allah or whatever divine being they believe in, but yet they turn around and they shit on our planet. So if you believe that the Creator, whether it's Mother Earth, whether you're Native American, as I am part Native American, like many of you, whether you believe in nature and the goodness of nature and the necessity to care for our planet, whatever that faith may be, whatever that those beliefs may be, how could you receive a beautiful gift like planet Earth and then decide to destroy it? I was having lunch, social distancing, by the way, for my birthday. One of my best friends, who's like a brother to me, and he sits there, and I have all respect for him. And he sits there and turns around and tells me that he doesn't believe in climate change, that all these things that are happening are normal. No, they're not normal. The science supports that they're not normal. The fire chiefs, the firefighters out there losing their lives, risking everything. Some of them um, they have been severely hurt here in California. That affects their family. They have no agenda. What's their agenda for saying that the fires are getting worse and there's more of them now than they have seen in past years? What could possibly be the reason that somebody in Zimbabwe, somebody in Iran, somebody in Australia, another scientist in Canada, another scientist in Mexico, and another scientist in the United States, they all say global warming is a reality, climate change is a reality, it's going to destroy the planet, we need to start changing the way we're treating our home? It's very simple. Why would it be if a termite inspector comes to your home and says, hey, this needs to be addressed or the termites are going to destroy your home? Not a lot of people with any brains are going to tell the exterminator, oh, I don't care, let the termites destroy my home. You wouldn't do that because you love your home, because you care about your home. Why is it that people have such little regard for this planet? You know, I've been big on this, a member of the Natural Resource Defense Fund for many years with people. There's nothing special about people like me because we care about our planet. How do you not care about your home? So again, it's very troubling to me that some of the people who claim to be the most God-fearing will have all the craziest ideas about why they don't need to take care of our planet. Well, if you don't believe that God's upset about the way we're treating the planet, Mother Nature, surely nature is not happy with the way we're treating this planet, because the evidence is all around us. I've heard other people say stupid things like, years ago during Hurricane Katrina, oh, you know that all those things happen. One of my Christian friends said, you know all those things happen because look at how all the wild things, all the debauchery that happens in New Orleans. Really? Well, the French quarters where the most of the debauchery happens survived just fine. People's homes were destroyed. People's lives were lost. So for people to say, oh, well, God's attacking this particular, somebody said, God's attacking California because California is a liberal state. Oh, well, tell me then why God's attacking Texas so badly, year after year after year, with horrific floods. Texas is hardcore a religious state, so and mostly conservative voting. So why would people say such crazy things? Florida is all over the map, but tends to vote more, supposedly a very religious state, and they get hit hard every few years. Along the original 13 colonies, there's a mix of liberal and conservative. So the idea that the creator is taking vengeance and smiting particular states because they're Republican or they're Democrat, they're liberal, they're conservative, that's just, that's about as idiotic of a comment as a person can make. And no offense, but if that's what you think, I mean, you got to look at history, because some very hardcore religious states have been devastated by natural disasters. I don't know if you guys know about California trying to lead on carbon emissions, on fuel efficiency, but that's another thing that needs to be brought to light. Because I had conversation with several people over the last year or so. California tried to institute, and is going forward trying to instituting, when car manufacturers want to sell cars in California, they will be required to have higher fuel efficiency standards. Much the same as excuse me on that one, my allergies with this terrible air are going crazy. Higher fuel efficiency standards, much the same as you see in the requirements in Europe. That means better miles to the gallon. That means more money in your pocket, many think tanks have determined that that would be over thousands and thousands of dollars in the average family's bank account kept saving money with higher fuel efficiency standards, better for everybody. There's nobody who would lose in that scenario except big oil and the car manufacturers who are in cahoots with big oil. Well, California got these car companies on board, and they're going to comply. Guess what? Within the next few years, to give us better fuel efficiency, lower fuel emissions, and better quality of air, which benefits all of us. No one suffers when the air is cleaner and you have more money in your pocket. But what happened? The federal government. I'm not going to mention the name of the perverse money grubbing person who serves only the interest of the mega wealthy and the big oil companies. The federal government is trying to make it so California cannot institute these requirements for fuel efficiency. Now tell me, my friends who are hardcore right-leaning, of which I have many, tell me how you justify that when you have the federal government saying we want people to get less miles to the gallon, fewer miles to the gallon. We want people to have to spend more of their money buying gasoline. How do you support that? How do you argue that? Please, in the comments, please weigh in on that, because this is nuts. I'm so sorry, you guys. I got to tell you, my allergies are just really out of control. So let me just repeat that, because I don't think a lot of people understand. California raised the requirements much the same as they have in Europe. If you want to sell your cars in California, the fifth largest economy, a nation state, you want to have access to our consumer dollars, your cars need to get better miles to a gallon. Rather than say 35 miles a gallon, get 45 miles a gallon. If it's already getting 40 miles a gallon, get 50 miles a gallon. That's more money in your pocket every week, every month for the rest of your life, as long as you own a vehicle. Which goes the same, other states would need to follow suit eventually, because the consumers would demand it. I don't care if you're right or left leaning. Who doesn't want more money in their pocket, in their bank account, to spend on their groceries and their kids for other things and other necessities, instead of spending it on gasoline? And if you think the big oil companies need more of your money, well, guess what? Look into it. They get federal welfare every year in the billions, in the tens of billions of dollars. Federal welfare, which they call subsidies. So if you think that big oil needs more of your money, guess what? They're already getting plenty of your money in your tax dollars, in our tax dollars. Going back to the fires, going back to the loss of life and the devastation that we're experiencing, I'm going to reiterate a point. I don't care who you are, what country you're from, rather what country you're from, in fact, because we are worldwide on Facebook. We have friends and followers throughout the globe. Take a good hard look around, see the direction the country's going, rather the planet's going. And I know a lot of other countries, like Australia is very good. Lots of countries in Europe are very good about taking care of the planet. But is there anything more you could do? If you're drinking bottled water, can you just get a water filter maybe? Install a water filter, or get a Brita or a pure pitcher. That's what we use at our house. And reduce how many water bottles you use. Trust me, you're wasting your money. The tax on the water bottle, the CRV, the redemption, all that's just wasted money. And even though if you recycle it, it's not 100% recyclable. There's very few materials that are 100% recyclable. Can you take fewer trips? Can you plan your trips better? Not your trips on your road trips or vacations. Everybody likes to enjoy their life, and they're entitled to it. I'm not saying anything about that. But if you're going to go to the bank, if you're going to go to the market, maybe you could do a route. Maybe you could cut down a little bit. Everyone can pitch in some way, shape, or form. But please, everyone, get on board. Stop lying to yourself. There is a climate change problem. It's doing severe damage to our home, and it's not a political issue. For some crazy reason, there's particular people who refuse to believe in science. Those same people who refuse to believe in science, ironically, they trust medicine. They'll go to the store and buy cough medicine. They'll go to the store and buy alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. They'll buy vitamins. That's all science. That's all science. You put additives into your car. You put fuel. You put oil. Those things are all based on science. So when scientists tell you you got to do better, take care of your planet, you gotta wear a mask. Where's my mask? You gotta wear a mask. You gotta do little things to pitch in. It's not, and no one's asking for much, guys. You could either get used to seeing communities burn down, you could continue, you get used to all that, or you could take action now and leave your children a better home, a better place to live. Because what's happening right now is we're shitting on this planet, and we're going to leave our kids and our grandkids a worse planet than what we found by far. By far. Just really a really lousy place to live. Imagine right now, our kids, because of the way that this pandemic was handled, and we're lied to since the very beginning, our kids are stuck at home a lot of time, having to go to school, right? At home, they're doing homeschooling. They don't get to play with their friends. Now we have our windows closed, our homes shuttered all throughout the Western United States because the air is so bad because of these fires. At some point, you got to accept that we need to do better. We owe it to our kids, we owe it to our grandkids, we owe it to the future generations. So that's the message for the day, guys. I know I ran a little bit long, and apologize for that. One more time, let's remember, rather, let's never forget all the loss of life and all the heroes that stepped up on September 11th, 19 years ago. Big shout out to all the first responders, whatever they are, particularly the firefighters, law enforcement, paramedics, doctors, nurses. You know how I feel about all those good people. And today, the message is, once again, let's take better care of our home. Let's take better care of our planet, and let's do better, guys. Let's just really try to take care of one another a lot better. So, as I'm signing out, I want to just remind you once again, I'm not always going to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm always going to tell you the way it is. Avoid the COVID. This is Wiseguy Confidential, signing off from Los Angeles, California.